Hey, it's your girl Miss Jennifer and I'm back today with another tutorial. So today we're going to do something very fun and easy to avoid going through the drive-through and to avoid all of that grease. We are going to do chicken tenders, but we are going to do oven fried chicken tenders. So the tools you're going to need is an oven, of course, preheated to 375, and you're going to use a rack if you have one. And the pan is just lined with foil at the bottom, so that way if anything drips down, we don't have to worry about a big mess on our pan. The foil will catch it. And go ahead and spray your rack with cooking spray. If you don't have any, that's fine. I just rub some canola oil on mine. You want to do that just so things don't stick, and when it's time to clean up, you don't have a big mess and it's hard and dried on. So back to this. Again, it's going to be oven fried. There's not going to be any oil at all other than the oil you rubbed on your rack. I tried this recipe yesterday to make sure it's right. It's on point. So I'm doing the tutorial today. It's just me. So I only have 3 tenders, but you can make as many as you want and adjust as needed. Okay, so the ingredients you're going to need is the seasoning that you like on your chicken. I personally am using the Montreal steak seasoning by Grill Mates, which is what I always use on any chicken that I'm going to do like a fried chicken. I even use it on my baked chicken if you watched my by oven barbecue chicken thighs. I'm going to use Xanaran's Creole seasoning. This is a go-to for me as well. There is another Xanaran seasoning that is in a clear container. That is not the one you want for this, or it's not what I use anyway, because it is a more coarser seasoning. This one is more fine. The other one I seen in the clear bottle, it's more coarse like this. And then I'm going to use some red pepper. That's only going to be for our batter. Use regular milk if you are a regular milk drinker. I'm only using soy milk because of allergies. So for that, I'm going to use original flavored soy milk. No, don't use flavored milk. Okay, so my tenders have been seasoned already with the Creole season and the Montreal steak seasoning and just regular black pepper. Didn't show that part because everybody seasons differently and you have to go by what your taste is. If you don't like a lot of seasoning, pull back some. I wouldn't do much more seasoning than I have on here right now, but you can just kind of tell how much I have on it by looking at it because you can see the seasoning, so it's kind of easy to tell. I don't measure anything. So over here, this is going to be for our batter. I don't measure anything again, but because I was doing the tutorial, I did measure it to see how much I had in the bowl. This is pretty much at a half a cup. So I took half of a measuring cup and it filled it up. So this is about half a cup what I'm going to use. And it has a pinch of salt already mixed in it that I mixed in before. So we are going to season our batter. This will not be a dry batter. I see a lot of tutorials with dry, just, like the dry flour when they do oven fried. That does not work for me at all. So I, came up with an alternative and it's been working for me. So we're going to take the Creole seasoning. We're going to shake some of that up in there. Again, I eyeball it. I don't measure anything. You can use more or less just depending on your preference. However, the more you use in the batter, the less Creole seasoning I would put on the chicken itself if you use Creole seasoning. And then I'm going to put in some red pepper flakes. And then we're just going to mix it all together first. Once you mixed it in, it should just look like this, just like flour with little speckles in it. Now, some people use an egg when they do batter for chicken. That's fine. You can do an egg if you want to. I don't use an egg. Why are we getting blurry here? Sorry about that. Something happened with autofocus. But anyway, you can use an egg if you want to. I never use an egg for my batter when I do oven fried. Okay, so now we're going to add the liquid. Again, I don't measure anything, so you have to eyeball it. But just think about pancake mix. So, the more liquid you wanted, the more liquid you add. The thicker you wanted, you add less liquid. If you do too much or too little, it's easy to fix. If it's too runny for you, add more flour. If it's too thick, just add a little bit more of your liquid, okay? So we're just going to start. And what I do, instead of just pouring it all at once, I'll add a little at a time, stir it, and then see where I'm at, and then decide if I need to add more. Okay, so here clearly I need to add more. I can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more. And this kind of helps you from going overboard by adding a little, stirring it, checking it, and then adding more. Okay, so this is about the consistency that I would like mine. This is about the thickness that I want mine. It's a preference thing, but to me, I like a thick fluid. So not thick and lumpy like dough, but not too runny either. Okay, now I'm going to show you two different ways you can apply this. But before we apply the batter to the tenders, I'm going to add some more Creole seasoning. I always do this. I add it to the dry batter. Then I go back and I add some more once it's in liquid form. And then we're going to stir that in and then we're going to add it. All right, so I've stirred in the extra Creole seasoning that I wanted. Now it's time to apply the batter. If you follow me on social media, then you probably saw the oven fried chicken wings that I did a week or two ago. I use the exact same method for those wings. The only difference is the wings have to cook like 2 times as long. These tenders, if you have tenders about this size, then you're looking at about 25 minutes in the oven at 375. If you have smaller ones, then you're going to want to reduce the cook time a little bit, but between 25 to 27 minutes should be perfect for this size. So let's go ahead and apply the batter. Now the first way I'm going to show you, if you are a person who does not like a lot of batter and you just like a little thin outer crust, then this is what you should do. And this is what I do when I do oven fried wings. Instead of dredging the chicken in the bowl, you're going to scoop out some, and then you're going to place it on your tender, and then you're just going to rub your batter in like you're doing a thin layer of paste. And you can coat it just by rubbing it in. Now that's one way to do it, and it worked beautifully for me yesterday. I did it like this yesterday. I also did it with wings. It was awesome. But I did notice with the tenders, it is a little bit different than the wings. So I wanted mine just a little bit more crustier. So I'm going to go ahead and dip my tenders in the bowl. And that's pretty self-explanatory. You just dip it in the bowl, pull it out until it's coated all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once you have your tenders all the way coated, go ahead and transfer them over to your rack. I am also going to be cooking some French fries on the rack. That's the good thing about these racks. You can fit a lot on there. So after the tenders have been in the oven about 5 to 7 minutes, I'll go ahead and add the French fries since the cook time is obviously different. And they're just pre-cut, pre-seasoned fries that you get out the frozen section. So there's no tutorial necessary on those. Okay, once we're done, you should have something like this. If you decide to dredge your tenders in the bowl, like I did, just let them drip a little bit before you transfer them to avoid having so much batter drip on the bottom. See, like here, I think I only have one little speckle. If you rubbed it in, the good thing about rubbing it in, like how I showed you with the spoon, you're going to have less drippage. I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but before you season your chicken, make sure you pat it dry, because if you have excess water, it does prevent them from getting as crispy as they could. So you're going to make sure you want those patted dry and just evenly coated. If you did the spoon method, make sure you flip them over and batter the other side too. Okay, you need to do both sides if it wasn't obvious. Okay, so now we're going to pop these in the oven. 5 minutes later, I'm going to add my French fries. You're going to flip the tenders over when they're about halfway done. So we're shooting for 25 minutes. So somewhere between 12 and 15 minutes, flip them over. I always let the top side cook a little bit longer than the bottom. Okay, so 12 to 15 minutes, flip them over. And I'll be back to show you that part. Okay, so we are about 15 minutes in here. You can see I added my fries a little while ago. So I'm just going to take my tongs to flip these over. Now, you're going to have some grill marks on the opposite side when you flip these over. Okay, so you're going to have those marks. Now, I did have a little bit of tearing on the batter because I didn't oil the rack as good as I should have. That's why I was saying it's really important to oil that rack, especially if you're going to use more batter. When you rub it in with the spoon, you usually don't have a sticking problem, but yeah, you are going to have those grill lines. So I'm going to let these cook about 10 more minutes because we'll be at about 25 minutes then. Then I'm going to flip them over again and just let them cook about 1 to 2 minutes on the top side again. All right, we are done. I removed my fries already with the tongs and put them off to the side. And I did exactly what I told you I was going to do. Around about the last minute or two, I flipped them back over on the top. You can also, too, in that last minute, if you want, just to get it a little bit crispier or darker, you can put it under the broiler for a very, very short period of time. I mean, don't play with it at all because it will dry it out very quickly. So if you want that last minute to put it under the broiler, if you do that, just make sure you remove the fries first. But that's it. We're all done. They're good to go. They're going to taste good. No, they're not going to be as crunchy as if you deep fried them. I love deep fried tenders, but I don't love the grease. But this is just giving you an alternative, and a healthier alternative, and something you can do at home if you're trying to avoid going out to restaurants or spending money, whatever your reason is. Just grab your favorite dipping sauce, some ketchup, favorite drink, you're good to go. Until next time, you guys, stay blessed. If you have any tips or suggestions or something that you want to see later, leave it in the comments. Bye.